Here's my basic camera setup. I have my SLR mounted on a tripod, and I have mounted my camera in the portrait position because I felt that aided the composition of the subject. And onto the tripod I've mounted a Manfrotto magic arm, and onto that I've attached my speed light via a TTL cable. Looking at the rear screen of my camera here, although it's on its side, we can see that my shutter speed is set to 1/200th of a second, which is the sync speed of the flash. The aperture is set to f5.6, the ISO 100, and you'll note that I have dialed in here, let's call it back, -1 stop of flash exposure compensation. And what I'm looking to do is overcome the daylight with the flash and have the flash as the main source of lighting, or the key light, and the daylight or the ambient light being the fill. And I only want the fill to be very minimal so I can blot out a lot of the messy background that is behind the flower. Then, using a cable release, I fire the gun and we'll see what we have. Looking at the rear screen of my camera, I can see that the present settings have rendered the background totally black. It's a nice effect for some pictures, but it can quickly be overdone, and it's not the effect I'm looking for here. So I shall make some adjustments and try again. I've now dropped my shutter speed down to a 60th of a second, which makes the ambient exposure 2 stops underexposed. We'll now see what that does to the exposure. Well, it hasn't done very much. The background is still very, very dark, and there are still quite a few hot spots upon the petals of the flower. Mind you, it is a very shiny surface, and this lighting modifier may not be the appropriate one to use for this subject. So now I've fitted my softbox. It's a LumiQuest Softbox 3, which folds flat, and it just velcros onto the head of the flash gun. Much the same effect as we can see, but the specular highlights are a lot softer and a lot less pronounced on this one. And to be honest, I prefer this rendition of the picture.